and welcome to the NHL Best Bets. Yesterday we had 5 games. One game was postponed. Let's go through our picks here. Vegas continued their games in Los Angeles. This time they played against Anaheim, and that was one-way street as expected. Only Jonathan Gibson's great saves kept Anaheim somehow in the game, but result was at the end 4-0. Vegas shot 51 times against Anaheim 16, so that's the difference between top of the league and bottom of the league right now. But like I said, under 5 goals, good result in our picks here. Other game, Calgary-Montreal, as expected, very tight defensive game. Like playoffs, both teams need to have wins in order to secure the 4th place in North Scotia division. This time Montreal was better at the end. They won the game 2-1, even though Calgary outshot them in shots and was dominating the game in many stages. But result counts, and Montreal won this time. Tommy, I bet you like the green again.
Yeah, green is my favorite color, and both of these games went exactly as we predicted. So the worst team in the West against one of the best teams in the West Division, 0-4. First period was 0-0, so Anaheim hanging there for 20 minutes, but then it was all Vegas, and it was a complete run through. So Vegas didn't need to put their full effort in it, so only scored 4 goals. They could have scored a lot more. John Gibson was a very good performance from the goaltender. Anaheim defensively not that good, but they did play through the defense and didn't create a lot of chances. So no goals and a nice shutout for Marc-Andre Fleury. And in the other game, completely different setup. 2 teams fighting for the playoffs. Now Montreal played exactly the way that they have to play in order to fight for the playoff spot. So they played defensively. Jake Allen good in the goal. Calgary couldn't score enough. 1 goal is not enough to win a game this time. This is also what Calgary needs to do. So 2 very defensive teams, only 3 goals scored. So very good under in both of these games.
Also, 2 other games went under. New York couldn't score a single goal in Boston. Boston won that 3-0. Bit yesterday's discussion that Islanders is good in these back-to-back games, but now it looks like Boston have found their stride, and their backup of the backup goalie Jeremy Swayman kept shutout in this game. He has been playing reasonably well during his 5 starts this season.
Yeah, it's very good for Boston to get some backup for the goaltending department when you have 2 older veterans, Tuukka Rask and Jaro Halak. So it's good that these young guys are stepping up as well. It bodes well for Boston in the future that you can have these goaltenders coming through your own ranks. You don't need to necessarily make a lot of changes after Tuukka Rask and Halak are gonna get older and older and probably at some point declining in their level.
How about our simulations, how they were profiting yesterday, or was it even result?
We made a little bit of a deficit here, 2 games incorrect, so we did think that Calgary could beat Montreal and also had San Jose winning in Minnesota, so those were incorrect, but the Boston and Vegas we got correct, but the odds were not the best, so minus 71 the side value here. But in the money line, all but 1 game were correct, so 81 profit. And the totals, all of the games were under, so we like those unders, and it was all correct. And by the way, it was Robin Lehner who played the shutout for Vegas, not Marc-Andre Fleury, so credit where it's due.
Yeah, San Jose gave a good fight in St. Paul against Minnesota, but lost 3-2. Shots were pretty even, and we do this great donkey bridge here to the tonight picks. And we think San Jose is the team that have chances tonight against Minnesota. Both teams, but especially San Jose needs to win these games if they are aiming for that fourth playoff position. Minnesota has maybe some kind of small security blanket there for the playoff spot, but San Jose really needs to make some strides. They have lost now 4 in a row, and if they keep losing, they can say bye-bye for the playoffs during next week. The other game, same game that we picked a few nights ago, Nashville in Carolina under 5.5 goals. Both teams, like it was a few nights ago, good goalies, good defensive work, and nothing has changed since then. So we expect another playoff-like matchup there. And even though Carolina and Nashville have capability of scoring, their defenses, Nashville and goaltending, both teams are very good.
Yeah, let's go first to the Western Division game. Minnesota, San Jose. Last night they played against each other. Minnesota won, but very barely, and it was a very close matchup, like a playoff style hockey. I think it was 18-21 the shots, so not a lot of chances. I do think that San Jose has a chance to improve a little bit more. Minnesota played really well. They deserved their victory. They were efficient in their scoring chances. But I think that San Jose has the chance to snatch a little bit higher, a little bit better performance tonight, and they are able to win the game. And they do have to, because they are fighting for the playoff spot. Minnesota, like you said, have a little bit of leeway there in the third spot of that division, but the fourth spot is between San Jose and Arizona and St. Louis Blues at the moment. So close battle. San Jose needs to start winning after losing now a couple of games straight. And like you said in the other game, nothing has changed. Carolina, Nashville, very close matchup, likely to be a playoff matchup as well. Carolina plays through the defense. They have really good offense, but their playing style is still like that. They're not going to score a lot of goals. They don't allow a lot of chances. Both teams great goaltenders, Nashville especially defensive team. So it will be, maybe this time, I did predict last time that it would be 3-2 after an overtime. I do think this time it will be that the score. Last time it was 4-1, but very under-like game as well.
How about any other games that you think would be good for betting? There is good amount of games tonight. I think altogether 11 games, if no any postponements. What would be your third pick?
I would take our favorite Winnipeg in at home against Edmonton. Edmonton comes in from after almost a week away from games. Winnipeg at home. I do think that Winnipeg is still undervalued by the bookmakers. We have 57% for them to win the game. Odds are minus 118, which indicates around 52%. So great value for a home team. I do think that Jets are the dark horse in these races, and they might be able to beat the Torontos, which they did in Toronto just last night or 2 nights ago. So Winnipeg is my pick if you have to choose. And then we have the other game, Arizona, St. Louis. Our simulations show Arizona about 50% favorite, so it's a coin flip. But we don't have a lot of faith in Arizona in this case.
Yeah, St. Louis has improved recently, and they both these teams, of course, need to win because they are maybe together with San Jose fighting for the last playoff spot in the West Honda West Division, and let's see how this Arizona St. Louis game goes. Then if we take a look of simulation projections, we have 2 big underdogs with some value. New Jersey plays in Madison Square Garden against the New York Rangers, and Ottawa goes to Montreal and try to beat Montreal that won yesterday, Calgary at home. So Do you think these odds that are currently hovering around plus 240, 250 would be lucrative for any reasonable bettor?
I do think there is value in this. Whenever you have these odds that are minus 300 for the favorites, I do think that the underdogs have a better chance. So it's still an NHL game. Both of these teams, New Jersey and Ottawa, are good teams. They are capable of beating their opponents. So I do think with these sort of massive odds that you get, like you said, 250 for Ottawa and 242 for New Jersey. So I do think that New Jersey has the chance to compete against Rangers, and Ottawa, like we've seen, has been able to beat Montreal in the past. So I don't see why not bet on these. But of course, with these long odds, it's maybe 1 out of 3, if that.
Yeah, I think with those kind of odds, it would be enough 1 out of 4 that you hit and you still make a profit. But let's see how the games go. These teams, like I said, have nothing to lose, nothing to win either, but only their pride. So there are some chances for new players to step up and show that, hey, I'm here as well. Please take me into consideration when you are thinking next season team.
Yeah, a lot of young players for both New Jersey and Ottawa. So interesting to watch. Tim Stuzzle, for example, for Ottawa, played a great season. I do think that he's the sort of superstar in the making. So there is a good chance for these underdogs with these young guys in lead.
Our total projections have been pretty spot on recently. Do you think there is any good overall under bets in rest of the games?
There is the game in Canada, Montreal, Ottawa, that we have 70% going under 5.5 goals. It's actually the line is at 6 already. Montreal, Ottawa. I do think depending a little bit who is going to play in the goal for Ottawa, but there is a couple of good goaltenders. So this is the sort of game that is going to be low scoring because I think that Montreal has learned their lesson and they are not trying to play like Edmonton or Toronto. They play like Montreal needs to play defensively. So not a lot of goals. Montreal, of course, heavy favorites there, but Ottawa has a chance to compete as well. But that's a big percentage, 70.9 for the under 6 goals.
How about our boy Kevin Lankinen? He should be starting in Detroit against not so great Red Wings team. Do you think that is also under, or will it be too free-flowing hockey by Detroit defense so Chicago can by themselves score over 5.5 goals?
It's always hard to predict the Detroit team that what kind of a effort they put. They've been playing quite well lately, beat a couple of teams even if they have nothing to play for. It's a very under-like game as well. They're not scoring a lot. If Lankinen plays, he's a great keeper, can keep Chicago in the battle. Chicago struggled as well, so the under is for about 67% here. So very low scoring, good goaltenders, probably not a lot of scoring in the offense.
Yeah, last 3 games, Red Wings have a bit surprisingly won twice in Carolina against Carolina, and then last game against Chicago. So this is second in this series, and Chicago is sliding a bit down in the playoff matching contention, but do you think they still have a chance even though Dallas is improving and Nashville has improved quite a bit?
They need to play a lot better than they have in the past in the couple of games. Chicago played really well early on the season. They got Lankinen there, built through the defense, played very solid ice hockey, very balanced team. Now maybe a little bit too much of this sort of offensive trying without actually being good enough for that sort of hockey. So they do need to start playing a little bit more defensively. They need to start to actually grind their wins in this division. So this is a good start if they are managing to beat Detroit this time.
Let's see how Chicago will use their opportunities because this is the time to do it. Otherwise, it would be only two-way race, Nashville or Dallas for the fourth spot in Discovery Central Division. But we'll start to watch hockey games again early tonight and continue throughout the night. So tomorrow is another time for recaps and previews for Sunday games as well.
It's a great day for hockey.